on I'm going to say the N-word. That is a pure demonstration that he knows that it is an inappropriate thing to say for a white person, especially in public, and yet he continues to say it. Now, that is an entirely different application of the word than the way you're presenting it in your supposed hypothetical argument. But the reason why you don't want to have that conversation on those boundaries is because you, I hope, kind of recognize that it's fucking weird. How is it a different application? A really good and solid way to debate is through the Twitch chat, which is super delayed. You probably watch this guy more than I do. Yeah, once again, I do not. And I unfortunately have to learn what his positions are because his dumbass fucking goons come in here and try to advocate for his positions with regular frequency and fail to demonstrate a solid point ever. He tells the audience on Monday he'd love to see you hurt and then calls you the N-word on a Wednesday. So clearly he just thinks you're his bro and has no ill intent, right? Listen, I don't care what his own personal motivations are. Okay? And I'm not the one who invited you onto the stream so that you can debate me in the marketplace of ideas. You voluntarily did that yourself. Okay? You voluntarily came in here and tried to draw some sort of reaction out of me. You got it. Now that you feel like you're getting fucking owned, you now feel the pressure. You're not doing a good enough job representing your community. So now maybe you're going into a chat room to get more talking points so that you can more adequately defend this position. But it's still not working. You tried and it's great, but it's still not working. So now you're saying, well, the debate format is actually bad. This debate format is actually bad. Well, you chose it, my friend. You chose it. I didn't choose it. You chose to voluntarily come in here and start some shit. Okay, I stand for myself, bro. You know nothing about me or my community. Brother, we know everything about you and your community. It is very one note. It is a literal fucking hive mind. It is the closest you can get to a cult online. Okay? Perhaps that is the reason why it comes across very touchy when I say that. And yours isn't? Remember when you were ran up to about drinking Coke from a glass? Yes. The difference is, though, I personally have talked at length about BDS and what is solid in terms of boycott, divestment, and sanctions, and the community that you come from, which you are now readily acknowledging by trying to fucking turn around and be like, well, what about your community? I'll entertain your whataboutism for a brief moment, only to tell you that I am not the one who's going around yelling at people about fucking Coke or drinking Coca-Cola. A misunderstanding from a member in my community does not change that does not change that I am not advocating for it. As a matter of fact, I've advocated against it. However, you, on the other hand, are in here following along with your favorite content creators' methodology, with your favorite content creators' opinion on the utilization of the N-word. And that's precisely the reason why you turn around and flail around and point to a bunch of other talking points. Like, oh, H3. Guess what, dude? Unlike, once again, your favorite content creator, I still maintain relationships with all of these people, including Ethan, as a matter of fact. Your favorite content creator, on the other hand, cannot. I have not dodged anything. I have actually personally responded to every single idiotic talking point that you've brought forward. Now, the reason why I've done that is because I still, hopefully in your heart, I still believe that there is a human being in there, and you're not just some fucking dumbass operating purely on a motivation of shit stirring at the behest of a whole ass other individual. I'm trying to have a person-to-person conversation with you, and all you're doing is running down the talking points like a goddamn NPC. Talking points that you didn't even come up with yourself. Talking points that someone else came up for you. Do you understand? You're still dodging how the use of the word is different? No, I'm not. I'm saying that deploying the N-word as a white person, knowing full well that it's not appropriate for you to say so, is completely unacceptable because it's still fucking racist. The acknowledgement that comes from him using the N-word or saying that he's going to say the N-word if his podcast guest host does not continue talking in the microphone, literally comes with the recognition that him saying it is actually wrong. It's sad. It's sad that many, many people that come from this community that supposedly value debate, okay, that supposedly value debate and think it's like how intellectual of a giant you can be if you're good at debating, rarely ever have good debaters. I also did answer how the G word isn't the same thing as the N word. Yes. But he's not here to listen. He's here to just keep fucking blurting out talking points like a goddamn Oblivion NPC. And as soon as the talking point is exhausted, in bad faith, he will continue repeating and deploying other talking points. I didn't dodge it at all. Unfortunately, and I hate to say this, I think you lack the mental fortitude to understand the points that I'm trying to make. It could be as a consequence of the biases that you have. Oh, fuck. My brother took my goddamn parking pass. God damn it. Either you genuinely are stupid, and I don't think you are. I don't want to believe that you are. Or you personally have a lot of animosity that is causing you to not understand where I'm coming from. The bias I have towards you is all your own doing. I used to literally watch you. Brother, when's the AOC thing, or did that already happen? Is the only time you've fucking come in here not at the behest of Divorcelli. That's it. Like, sure, maybe you used to watch me. I understand that. Plenty of people do. And then sometimes, again, they start developing a shit ton of animosity at the behest of a whole other person who then primes them into thinking, yeah, this is a bad dude, actually. You watch enough of that, you're probably going to get motivated. The sad part about it is that you have lost your personhood in this situation. Do you understand? You must ask yourself, are these genuine, firmly held disagreements that I have with this person? Or is it because I am coming from a community that shares a sense of purpose and a sense of camaraderie off of the anger and resentment that another person has towards HasanAbi Piker? Okay? So I asked you from the jump, what is a real disagreement you have with me, which led you to defend the usage of the N-word as a white person? I think that's kind of sad. I don't want to believe that you legitimately think this. I hope that this is something you can shake off. That's it. Yes, I hate how much you're a hypocrite. I've been following you since 2020. I just don't chat ever. This dude was able to convince me. How does that appear to you? How was it convincing? Yes, I hate how much you're a hypocrite. See, that's another good talking point. Got it. Where is the hypocrisy coming from? Is it because you personally think that socialism means that you must live an ascetic lifestyle? Or is it actually the way that you generate your income that matters in this circumstance? I do not engage in any kind of capital accumulation beyond what I consider to be normal as a consequence of having some kind of nest egg. Okay? I don't think you understand what socialism means. That is precisely the reason why you think there is some kind of genuine hypocrisy here. Okay? You also have demonstrated once again that you don't have any firmly held convictions. You are simply repeating talking points that you watched in a YouTube video, coming from a community where you share a sense of anger, animosity, and resentment towards another content creator, and that's how you feel like you are welcomed. All right, school me by changing the direction. You still haven't responded how reading the word from a book and how saying it undirected is different. Once again, the conversation that we're having is not about reading a word from a book. The conversation that we're having right now is about your favorite content creator using the N-word in broad daylight. You're the one who's trying to direct the conversation to what you think is a more permissible and a better position overall in this debate. The reason why I'm not letting you redirect the conversation away from the main point of contention is precisely the reason why you desperately try to continue to do so. That's it. And for the record, I did address it. I did. Remember when D swore he was the first and biggest voice against crypto gambling and then went to kick? I don't remember that. Bro, the defense is just going to run in circles? Yeah, like a headless chicken. That is what I'm trying to explain. You have to make a point for him to dodge it. You have to make a point for him to rebuke it. I mean, he has made points. I have responded to said points, but it doesn't get through. That's it. The reason why I engage in this is specifically because I hope that, I can try to convince them personally, because I don't really care about them liking me or not liking me. I mean, of course, I do care about people liking me. I am human after all. But the thing I care about more than whether they like me or don't like me is the right-wing rabbit hole that a lot of people find themselves in. Okay? And for every one person like this, there are a shit ton of other people who might harbor the same kinds of resentment. Okay? His spinelessness when it came to that Hasan stuff not too long ago made me jump to the same conclusion. He's not from this community, though. He's his own person. So how often does the debate convince the other debater? I mean, it happened yesterday, but I don't think that's my main issue here. My main issue is not necessarily convincing the immediate person I'm talking to, but instead maybe some others who are also joining in that might harbor similar resentments, but then they can be convinced. If they're in the margins, they could potentially be convinced as to they could be convinced away from going further and further into right-wing idiocy. You know what I mean? Lemafeo dug up my one tweet I've made recently. Yeah, I mean, you lied. That's the point. The point is that you lied. I don't know why you can't comprehend that. I don't think you're a hypocrite is a point. Dude allegedly used to watch you all the time, but can't give a specific example to something you did to lose him. You just have to guess at what he's referring to. I know. That's it. D-fans always pretend like they're not D-fans because it's that embarrassing. No, I don't think they're embarrassed. I think they do a shit ton of way more embarrassing things all the time at the behest of Divorcelli. I think the real reason why they don't want to admit it in that conversation is because they want to make it seem like they're just a outsider who isn't guided by like unimaginable amounts of fucking animosity for no particular reason. Yeah. Jay Miles said he was a fan too. They say that because they know you'll hear them out if they do. And some of those people are fans. They do spend time in here. And then they usually, the way I've tracked this is usually there will be like one thing that they have a disagreement with on me, and because of how fucking passionate and even sometimes, dare I say, arrogant I get about that disagreement, their whole world falls apart. So they desperately seek out any kind of community that will actually own me, because they can't just be like, well, I disagree with them on this issue, let's move on. They have an unhealthy relationship with the content that I'm making from the jump. So then they seek out another even more unhealthy relationship by looking for someone who will speak for themselves. Okay? In their minds, I become everything that is wrong with the world. And that community has a steady flow of content that will constantly feed them more information. You're seeing this right now. You're seeing all of the NPC talking points. That all stems from, and I addressed every single one of them, by the way. It's just sad. It's sad to see. You can hate me. You don't have to like me. It hurts my feelings, but it's fine if you don't like me. I just genuinely don't want you to find yourself in the throes of reactionary sentiment, especially if you were once a fan. Okay? That's it. And I fear that being in this community, being in the Divorcelli community, genuinely does lead you into defending positions that you probably thought were unconscionable only 2 years ago or only 3 years ago. Like the idea that a white guy saying the N-word, okay, in public when referring to another person is actually totally permissible. It's totally valid. There was no hatred behind it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's a right-wing position. That is a genuine right-wing position. That's precisely the reason why it is a position shared by not only Divorcelli, but also this guy.
And it is, again, a decision that no one can logically or morally defend. You know, the idea that there's a word that cannot be uttered under any circumstance is completely insane. And it is not something that there is no other word in the English language or any other language in existence that we have those kinds of rules for. There's other words that are slurs. There are words that we would consider vulgarity and profanity, and all kinds of words that I don't say on this show because we try not to use profanity and vulgarity on the show. Words that I don't think you should use, words that you shouldn't use around kids, and so on. And all kinds of words like this. But there's no other word that we would say, well, under no circumstance at all can it even be uttered, even in the context of quoting somebody. And certainly there's no other word where we would say, well, judging on your skin pigment, if it's this shade, you can't say it at all under any circumstance. But if it's a little bit of a darker shade, then say it all the time. And it's total.
Why doesn't he say it then? I don't know. But in any case, don't you find that odd? Maybe 2 years ago, you would have looked at this and went, what the fuck's this guy saying? And now you are saying the exact same things. How did that happen? A question every single person that is currently hate watching must ask themselves. How did I get to a position where I am now arguing on the boundaries of being able to say the N-word alongside the likes of Matt Walsh? Without realizing it, the anger and resentment that you have harbored towards a fucking dumbass content creator such as myself, okay, has caused you to literally become more right-wing. That is what I care about. Okay? That's what I care about. Do you get it? I want to make sure that others that are in the margins don't also fall into this fucking rabbit hole. You don't have to like me. I wish you would, but if you don't, that's fine too. I just don't want you to let that anger and animosity, and even on the other side of it, the sense of shared purpose that you see from engaging with these kinds of communities, guide you down a scary path. That's it. And as much as, where is that chatter? As much as you try to say, oh, I don't, at the end of the day, just don't call people slurs. Doesn't matter the severity. Remember, I want to believe that you legitimately believe this, okay? But you spent the last half hour talking about how there is a difference between a white person saying the N-word being totally fine and me talking about the historical references as to how the term gusano is very different than the N-word. Like, you are personally saying one is worse than the other when objectively the side that you're defending is worse. So it doesn't seem like you don't have an issue with people using slurs, okay, or calling other people slurs, as long as it is your favorite content creator saying said slurs. That's it. I have an issue with people calling people slurs. Brother, if you did, you wouldn't literally fucking try to defend a white guy saying the N-word. Okay? Your logs are right in front of us. I don't know why. I don't know why you're trying to deflect away from it. Okay? I don't know why. You're trying to deflect away by saying, well, there are certain use cases where it's permissible to say the N-word as a white guy. What if you were just reading it from a book or something like that? That wasn't the point of contention. Now, I would say that you're backtracking, but I don't think you are. I don't know what you're doing, really. You're painting me out to be a right-wing now, Lamafeo. Yes, I am. I am painting you out to be right-wing. Because you are. Defending white people saying the N-word is perhaps one of the more right-wing positions that you could argue on. Okay? Sometimes a hypocrite is a man in the process of learning. Yes. No, you're just so far left, you can't see anything else besides you or against you. That's not true. If I saw you as someone who is inherently slanted against me, I would have just banned you when we correctly pointed out that you were only in here to debate and probably try to farm clips for your favorite content creator and moved on. Like many others, you could have then turned around and said, oh, see, he hates discourse. Instead, I took you seriously and I addressed every single ridiculous talking point that you presented like a fucking NPC. Every single one. Why did I do this? Because I think you can still be convinced. And others that are watching, or rather hate watching, can also be convinced. That's it. If I just immediately thought that you were antagonistic and that you were just against me, you were just an enemy of mine, I wouldn't have taken the time out. I'm giving you a chance. Now that we went, see, you're like, hey, at least you didn't ban me. Hey, at least you didn't give a ban when you kept dodging. Like you are not arguing. You're not arguing with me. You're just, I think, arguing with your own sense of what I am. And in your mind, you think you're winning, which makes it really sad. But you have all your, you have all of your opinions just because of your social position. You really are spineless. Peace. At the end of the day, just don't call people slurs. I have an issue with people calling people slurs. Anyway, why is he still talking to this person? I've told you a million times why, chatters. It is specifically because I want others who are watching, if it's not going to be him, okay? If it's not going to be him, there are still plenty of people who most likely are watching, hate watching specifically, that will be like, you know what? He's different than the way I thought he was, than the way I perceived him as. Because I didn't personally watch him and I only watched clips of him that were neatly massaged in a certain direction. Of course I am, because you're just an internet personality. I don't know you, but from what I've seen from you, you're a dishonest, a hypocrite, and can't take any criticism. Chatter, you have yet to give one good criticism so far. And the only thing you have done, like an NPC, is repeat someone else's talking points while vaguely gesturing at things as to why you don't like the vibes that I present. Okay? You can't just say I'm dishonest. You have to show me why I'm dishonest so I can address it. You can't just say I'm a hypocrite. You have to tell me why I'm a hypocrite. And if the talking points, and I know these already because I've talked about it a million times over, is that changing the Wikipedia definition of the G word that I can't send and lying about it is a big issue. Wait, what? You think I changed the Wikipedia? You think I have the capacity to change the Wikipedia definition? You think I know how to fucking edit Wikipedia? At a certain point, you have to recognize that maybe you're duped. Weirdly, the wiki page for the G word didn't exist before 2023. Changing the Wikipedia definition? That's a new one. I had not heard that one before. We're coming up on 1 hour of this hard-headed, misguided, lost HasanAbi head. Former HasanAbi head. This community today has been looking at people editing the G Words Wikipedia page is unhinged. That's crazy. Yeah. I control all of the content creators in Los Angeles, and now I also control everyone who is a Wikipedia editor. That's incredible. That's good stuff, man. You allowed your fan base to try, not you personally. You're smarter than this, dude. I allowed my fan base to try. At a certain point, you have to realize, and I really, really hope you have to realize, that you are, once again, arguing with things you made up in your own mind, things that you have heard. Okay? I have no fucking idea what you're talking about. I don't think you'll ever believe me because you do truly see me as like the representation of evil. That much is clear. Hasan, is saying the N-word not towards someone isn't bad. Explain to him why it's bad so he can shut the fuck up. Chatter, if you think he's going to shut the fuck up after I explain that, you're wrong.